Been a little bit. I'm a couple days late to this one specifically. I'm just like, did the alternates take the plants now? It's a time lapse of a sunflower growing. And because of the lighting in here, it makes the entire plant look white. Yep, that's that's chlorophyll. Photosynthesis. Venus flytrap. Cells. Don't know specifics. But it's growing. It's spreading. You can't escape, motherfucker. Get devoured. Yeah, like that. Gotta get devoured. Eat the sun. Getting taller. Get him! Get fucked! There's the beautiful flower ready to bloom. Either that or Gabriel's face is just gonna be right there. Sunflower. As the instrumental gets a little more distorted. Alright. Now they've gotten the plant stuff out of the way, who's this? I get the camera quality! Testimony Stephanie Duval. Age 27. There she is. Relation to her daughter, Delphine. There, that's a better...
When I was a young girl, I had a crippling fear of plants.
Huh. Oh, Botanophobia.
This wasn't a problem until my mother became an exotic florist, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Lots of meat-eating plants. Lots of toxic plants, really, like Datura. That's just bad.
I wasn't afraid of grass or trees, per se.
But specific...
But I did have a significant aversion to plants that my mother owned or studied.
So exotic
These
plants.
include Venus flytraps.
Fair.
Giant hogweed.
I don't know enough about them. Fair.
Stuff like that.
Do hogweeds eat
And even
meat?
though I grew up in the humid climate of North Carolina, I still managed to have nightmares about saguaro cacti.
It's a cactus.
These days, I can recognize...
Come back and fight, you vegetable.
Plant's defense mechanisms. Yeah, sure.
Oh, because it was sharp.
But as a kid, it didn't make any sense.
I don't know enough about hogweed. I'll have to look it up.
These plants wanted to hurt me. They were oddly human-like.
The corpse flower.
Invasive and all-consuming.
Okay, I see.
Carefully crafted with alluring...
Another corpse flower.
It was terrible.
Yeah, even the plants aren't vegans.
I would be able to see the intention in their face and
No.
on their movements.
Not exactly. There's some people...
I just hoped I was lucky enough that a seemingly harmless one was, in fact, harmless. I felt like they belonged to a classification separate from both botanical and animal life. It truly seemed like they were
Just
alive, like aware of their surroundings.
Pokemon.
Thinking, feeling.
I mean, they do feel pain and they can speak.
At a certain point, these thoughts became too much to bear.
No
My
plants.
bedroom became the only space in the house.
So white, the camera can't pick it up.
Constant anxiety that plagued my mind throughout the day.
I mean,
knowing what was just outside.
Can't relate. I mean, I was afraid of bees,
I
but
had a complete mental breakdown.
my autism meltdowns were
My
about
mother never believed
stupider
me
shit.
until that point. She was disappointed that I felt that way about her biggest passion. But after some convincing, she decided to get rid of all the plants to bring me peace. I felt so terribly guilty, but really eternally grateful for her understanding. She did make one exception.
Okay, so Delphine is the mother.
She wanted to keep her sunflowers, which had just started to bloom.
Fair. They can't hurt
I
you.
was okay with this, since my extensive research showed absolutely zero signs of sunflowers being harmful.
Unless an alternate is infesting one of them.
Plus, they were going to be kept outside only.
That looks like it could be a datura plant. I could be wrong. It might be a tulip. But it's kind of... No, it's not trumpet-shaped enough. I don't know what it was. I'm not as skilled at plants as I wish I was.
What's in these? What am I?
The fuck?
Doritos?
Hold on.
Soon began
Sorry, I
to feel
didn't...
comfortable in my own home again. However, my fears and past experiences left a scar that couldn't be healed alone.
Therapy.
I started going to therapy.
Exactly. Good job. Good job, Stephanie.
At the same time, my mother began to resent me.
Because she had to get rid of her
She started
passion.
making passive remarks that blamed me for her newfound isolation.
That's
She
also...
also claimed that I was going to therapy because of her, and she was upset about not being good enough for me. I reassured her every time that it wasn't her.
I see a problem.
I obviously never told her, but she ended up being right. The conversations I had with my therapist became less about the plants
More about her.
and more because of my mother.
I wonder where her... I guess her father's out of the picture completely if it's only her and her mother.
Summer came around, the sunflowers bloomed quickly.
That's some alternate shit.
My mother began claiming that she could hear them. I assumed she was referring to the long stalks.
I mean, cats and dogs can understand, can hear them.
She said they would speak to her.
There's alternates in the sunflowers.
But deep down, I was totally freaked out.
Especially with an image like
She
that.
had never said something so bizarre about a plant in the 10 years she'd had them. Due to her resentment, I figured she was just trying to frighten me.
That's also a fair
She was the
assumption when you're a
only
kid.
one that knew my deepest fears, after all.
That's a fair assumption.
I would overhear her having conversations. She didn't know I was listening to her. Turns out, it wasn't just to scare me after all. She spoke to them more lovingly than she did with me.
Well, that's just depressing.
I felt betrayed, neglected, and I felt frightened again.
Yeah.
I never had a reason to be afraid of the sunflowers until now.
That is type of rose. And we get the decay fast forward as the petals fall off after pollination is complete. Or is it... No, tulips don't have that many petals. They only have like a few on the outside. Oh no.
Moments after this experience,
1982
my
from
mother
1920.
unexpectedly died of a heart attack. This impacted me way more than I anticipated.
That's fair.
Despite the lack of affection she gave me towards the end of her life, I felt horrifically depressed.
My mom died and all I got was
It
this
took
free
me a long
churro.
time to get used to living on my own and looking after the house.
I can imagine.
After her death, I never went into the backyard ever again.
I assume those plants went
I never
amok.
watered the flowers. I hoped they would die as soon as possible. I never bothered to check on them. A horrible feeling would wash over me every time I thought about turning the corner and seeing those tall, horrible stalks. I knew they would be dead after a couple of weeks.
They didn't die.
I would soon feel alone again.
They didn't.
But one day, as I was cooped up in my bedroom,
Oh God.
I heard my
Mother? That was the picture of the mother memorial starting to come up again. I don't think fast forwarding and rewinding is supposed to sound like that. Hold on. How much time do we have in this? Alright, we still got about a minute or so left. Okay. I guess that's what it sounded like. It's just a black screen. So you just barely see my hand now as I put in front of the camera to see how black the screen is. Is that the sound the plants make or the mom? It's not dead. It looks red in the light, and I think red sunflowers do exist. Is it a plant alternate? Did she get reincarnated into a fucking one of thems? Now I'm scared. I know Alex doesn't really jump scare, but I want to know how bad this gets. Because currently it's... Alright, it's facing away because that's where the sun is. Alright. It's just... Who's that person in the back? Oh, God. Oh, there's an eye. Afraid of me? Stephanie? Oh my God. Hi, Wendigoon.